What's up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Corey. I'm a professional violinist. I've been playing the violin for 30 years now, which is kind of crazy, and teaching for like 15, 20-ish years, somewhere in there. I'm not 100% sure when I started. I think I was like 13 when I started teaching. I taught my next door neighbor. That's it. But I thought today I would tell you what I would do if I was going to start learning the violin like all over again in 2024, like what I would do, what would be some of the very crucial things that I would make sure to do, knowing everything I know at this point. So the first thing I would do is I would actually invest in a nice violin. And let me explain what I mean. If you start playing the violin and you're just learning and you're learning on a very crappy instrument, it's going to be hard to make yourself sound good because at the base, at the core, your violin sucks. So it's going to be really hard for you as a new player to make your violin sound good. And I've watched this happen so many times, like new players playing the violin, and they honestly think that they are the ones that sound bad, when in reality, you hand them a nice violin and they're like, oh my gosh, why is this so much easier to play? Like, why do I actually sound good? And to me, that's slightly sad to see that because they've been playing so long on such a bad violin. If they had just in the first place invested a little bit more money into a nice violin, I think they would have been so much further ahead. So that's why that's my first point, is investing in a nice violin. And what I mean by a nice violin is, so for instance, I have this one here that I got from Kennedy Violins, and this one is the Louis Carpini, I think it's their G2 package. And I have to tell you, like, this is a student violin, but it is one of the best student violins I have ever played. Like, it's so easy to play, it sounds gorgeous, and it rings beautifully, which is really hard to find in a student violin. So I've been overall just so impressed with this violin. I'm gonna play it for you in a second so you can hear it, but I would highly recommend getting a nice violin like this one. And the nice thing is Kennedy Violins does have a rental program. So if you're like, dude, that violin's way out of my price range, you don't have to pay for it all up front, like rent it. Plus, when you're first learning the violin, you don't know if you're going to love it. Like, you've never done it before. Just rent the violin rather than buying something that you're gonna now be stuck with, because it's kind of hard to sell violins. So just rent one. And not to harp on the subject, but also if you just initially get a nice violin, it's something that will last you so much longer. Like, this is something I've literally been playing this violin now for like a month. And I have a really nice violin, but I've been playing this one because I like it so much. I think it's beautiful. Okay. Let me play it for you and see what I mean. And I'm not trying to promote like a specific violin or a specific shop. You can honestly go wherever, but what I would recommend is going to a violin shop rather than purchasing one off of Amazon. A violin shop will help you with knowing which one to get, knowing which size you need. If you're not in a full size, if you're not like over 13 years old, you might not need a full size violin. So they'll be able to help you with what size you need, what type to get, payment programs, rental programs. Like, I highly recommend a violin shop too. And if anything happens to it, you have like a hotline you can call and be like, oh my gosh, help me. So I highly recommend doing a violin shop. I'm gonna link this one in the description. Don't feel like you have to buy this one, but I wanted to have a violin that I've tried, that I've played, that I know is really awesome, that I could recommend, other than being like, oh, try something. So I wanted to have one that I love, and I really recommend this one. I will say though, I did change out the bow. This is the Coda Colors bow. I'll link some nice bows below too. I wasn't a huge fan of the bow that this one came with, so I'll link some bows that I also think would be amazing. And just so you can have a few options, I'll link a few other violins down below that I like too. But this one's my favorite. So now you have a nice violin. The second thing I do is I would get a good teacher. And a question I feel like I hear a lot is, how do you know if they're a good teacher? I feel like there's not like a specific like formula that you can be like, this is a good teacher. I would recommend seeing if you can go to like one of their recitals and seeing like how good their students are, how well they play, what their age range is that they teach, and kind of the skill level that they teach as well, and just kind of seeing if there might be a good fit for you. Another way to tell if it's a good teacher is if you like them. Like, that's really important. Like, you have to like your teacher. I've had teachers that are supposed to be like the best teachers, but like, I just didn't jive with them. And in that case, I'm not going to take from them because I am not encouraged to play more. I'm not loving my lessons every single time I go, and things like that. So that's a great way to know if you like your teacher, is to just have a trial lesson, see if you jive, see if you like them, see if their goals for you are the goals that you have, and they can help you accomplish those goals. So those are just a few ways to find if it's a good teacher. I feel like kind of the coolest thing that came out of 2020 was being able to teach now online. At least I never taught online before 2020. And now like it's a thing. And so you don't have to take from somebody that is specifically like where you live. You can take from somebody anywhere. So you have so many options. Just look online, see what you can find, take a few trial lessons and see which one you like the best. I would never learn the violin without a teacher. I think that it's very difficult to learn the violin without one, especially in the beginning. Okay, and the last and the final thing I would recommend is to get a community around you. Find players that are also learning, that are kind of at your level, that you can play with. Maybe you form a quartet, maybe you join a local orchestra, like whatever it might be. Find people that you can play with. I always find when I'm in orchestra or symphony or whatever that I practice more because I know I'm gonna have to show up to rehearsal and play my part. But not only that, I also feel like very encouraged like by my stand partner or whoever I'm playing with to like play better. You learn to sight read better because you're probably doing new music a lot more consistently than you are in your lessons. And you also learn how like your part relates to other people and how to play with multiple people, with a conductor, all that kind of stuff. And that's really important. Like, music isn't meant to be played all by yourself in your room, unless that's your goal. But I really recommend still getting out and find a good community that is going to encourage you and help you to be better. Okay, you guys, those are my 3 tips. Get a good violin, find an awesome teacher, get a community around you. I'm going to link at the end here my 3 habits of successful violinists, just to kind of help you also progress faster and understand what you need to do as a new violinist to be successful. Well, you guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!